Tardigrades Part 3. In April of 2019, a spacecraft carrying thousands of tardigrades crashed on the moon. It crashed at the speed of over 140 meters per second. This prompted scientists in 2021 in the UK to find out whether they could have survived the impact. They put dry tardigrades in a small container. Then, with a special gun, they shot it at sand targets. The scientists discovered that some tardigrades survived impacts of up to 825 meters per second. Given that tardigrades can also survive the vacuum and ultraviolet radiation of outer space, it is very possible that the tardigrades survived the impact and are waiting on the moon for someone to resuscitate them. Vocabulary: spacecraft, spacecraft. Crashed, crashed. Speed, per, prompt, prompt. The UK, could have, impact, target. Given that, resuscitate. Okay, now for the explanation. Okay, tardigrades Part 3. Here we go. In April of 2019, a spacecraft, same thing with aircraft. Spacecraft is non-count, it is countable, but it is singular and plural the same. So one spacecraft and two spacecraft. Okay, so one spacecraft, two spacecraft, no S. This is a spacecraft. All right, this is a sci-fi spacecraft. This is a movie, science fiction spacecraft. And this is a real spacecraft on the moon. I believe this is Apollo 15, and it was the first time they brought this little car onto the moon. Okay, so here's spacecraft and spacecraft, science fiction and real. Okay, so in April of 2019, a spacecraft carrying thousands of tardigrades crashed on the moon. All right, so this is crash. This is what happens when you crash your car into a tree. Crash, okay? You crash your car into a tree. This is called the crash, okay? You crashed the car into the tree. Here is an example of two cars crashing into each other. Crash, okay? So the red car, I believe, crashed into the yellow car. Crash, okay? And this is an example of a small planet or a moon or whatever it is crashing into a big planet. Okay, so crash. Okay, so this smaller planet, well, it doesn't matter, they crashed into each other. Okay, so this planet crashed into that planet. Notice the preposition is one thing crashed into something, or one thing crashed on something. With in this context, okay, it crashed on the moon. Okay, so crash. Okay, good. It crashed at the speed of over 100 meters per second. Okay, so this is speed. See, 90 kilometers. You see this on the highway. In the United States, it looks like that, right? Okay, so this is called the speed limit. Okay, speed limit. That means you cannot go over that speed. Okay, so speed is measured in how far, right? Distance, how far. In other words, distance over divided by how much time, right? Everybody knows this, right? If you're in junior high school in Taiwan, you should know this, right? That's what speed is. How far over how much time. These examples are kilometers per hour, right? That is the unit of speed that we usually use. Okay, but let's continue. All right, so the spacecraft crashed at the speed of over 100 meters per second. So here it is, 100 meters per, this is per, right? What is per? Per is this slash right here. So here it is, 100 meters. This is what this is how you write 100 meters per second. Okay, so here it is, 100 meters per second. Okay, all right, so 100 meters per, so this slash right here is, in this context, is per. Okay, this per is how you say this, 100 meters per second. Okay, so this slash here is per. So in other words, per is the slash. Okay, that is per. Okay, 100 meters per second. So that's how fast the spacecraft crashed on the moon, at 100 meters per second. Okay, that's very, very fast. Okay, all right. This prompted scientists in 2021 in the UK to find out whether they could have survived the impact. Okay, so prompted, this is very, very interesting. Okay, so prompted in Chinese, it's easier to do in Chinese, is this. Okay, whatever that is. Okay, so in this sentence, this prompted, okay, this fact, okay, prompted scientists in the UK in 2021 to discover whether they could have survived the impact, okay, on the moon. All right, so prompted means this. I don't know how to say that in Chinese, but it just means that. Okay, that's what Google told me. All right, so this prompted scientists in 2021, in other words, because of crashing on the moon, scientists thought, let's do this experiment. Let's see if tardigrades can survive that crash. So it prompted scientists to do it. It gave scientists an idea. So I guess prompted, you could say, means to give or gave them an idea, the idea, right? It gave them the idea, okay? Okay, gave who? Gave scientists the idea in 2021 to find out whether they could have survived the UK, the impact on the moon. All right, so these scientists were from the UK, and the acronym the UK is the United Kingdom, right? All right, the United Kingdom. Okay, that's what the UK stands for, the United Kingdom. You can see that it is U and K, right? The UK. All right. So this prompted scientists in the UK to find out whether they could have, and could have means here, right? Yes. Oops, what happened? Could have. It could have. Okay. Whether they, meaning the tardigrades, could have survived the impact. Impact just means crash, right? Impact, impact, impact. Crash, crash, crash. So impact just means the crash, the crashing, the crash, right? And over here, you can see, here is impacts, okay? All right. So what did they do? They put dry tardigrades in a small container. This is not a new word, but this is what a container is, a small container. Containers can be very big, as are the ones on the ship. Okay, so maybe if I can find, maybe I can show you a container ship. And if I can show you, then I can show you. Here it is right there. So all these little boxes are containers, right? And this is called the container ship. And these boxes, they are each of them as big as a truck, are containers, okay? Container, right? So if I erase ship, you should be able to see the individual. Here it is, a container. So this would be a normal size container, and this would be a small container, right? So they put tardigrades, dry tardigrades, in a small container, okay, like a little container. Then with a special gun, they shot it at sand targets, okay? They shot these the containers with the tardigrades at sand targets, okay? At targets. This is a target, okay? So they shot the container at the targets very quickly, all right? The scientists discovered that some tardigrades survived the impacts of up to 825 meters per second. 825 meters per second, okay? Let's write that down so you can, so let's review, right? We talked about the 825 meters per second. That is very, very fast, okay, right? So they discovered that the tardigrades could survive that fast of an impact, okay? So that's way more powerful, faster than the 140 meters per second, right? Yes. Okay, so that means that they could have survived, right, on the moon. Okay. So given that, okay, given that just means this, which we will talk about in class today. Given that tardigrades can also survive the vacuum and ultraviolet radiation of outer space, it is very possible that the tardigrades survived the impact and are waiting on the moon for someone to resuscitate them, okay? So resuscitate just means reanimate. Reanimate. In other words, to bring back to life. Okay? Right? And in Chinese, it means this. Okay? Right. So this, given that, is actually quite difficult in English in Chinese to explain. Given that in Chinese has two phrases, one in the first part of the sentence, and then the other beginning in the second part of the sentence after the comma. So here it is. Given that, you have to say, given this, and then therefore this, right? So given that is actually this and this together in Chinese, okay, which we will practice more when it is a class. Okay, good. Let's review. Here it is. Spacecraft, spacecraft, crash, which also means impact. Okay, they are the same, pretty much. Okay, speed, right? If you're traveling this distance in this amount of time, then that is your speed, okay? And prompted, okay? Gave someone the idea, right? Yes, if I give you the idea to do something, I prompted you to do something, okay? And then the UK, which means the United Kingdom. Try to remember that. Could have, yeah. We will give examples in class later. And then impact, okay? Which means not harsh, but crash or crashing, okay? Target, that's a target, okay, target. And then given that, we will do practices with this and then this in class, okay? All right, very good. Thank you for watching, and I'll see all of you in class. Goodbye.